You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
The Trojans are tamed by the Tigers as Memphis beats Troy to start out 2-0. We'll recap the win, sit down with new quarterbacks coach and Memphis native Reggie Howard. And it's the one we've all been waiting for. We're previewing Florida State. It's The Ryan Silverfield Show. Let's go.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. When you've got battery trouble, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Conway Services, official heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. And by Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams.
W against Troy could end up being a significant win. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Woloshin.
And I'm Doc Holliday. Let's take a look at these outstanding highlights.
A whole lot of star power at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for this one. The 1993 Memphis squad honored at the game, including Hall of Famer Isaac Bruce and Ja Morant, also in the house supporting the Tigers. Memphis marched right down the field on their first drive of the game. Death, taxes, Brandon Thomas scoring touchdowns at the goal line. BT punches in the opening score of the day from 2 yards out. Both team grabs a 7-0 lead. The Trojans offense answers with a drive of their own. Goose Crowder get loose. Can't find anyone, eventually decides to do it himself, wins the race to the pylon. 11-yard scamper, game tied at 7. Memphis immediately counterpunches. Thomas could score these touchdowns in his sleep. Deuce is wild, 2 carries, 2 touchdowns on the day for 22. Tigers back up 14-7. His backfield mate, Mario Anderson, was keeping cool under pressure on this run. The big man showing off the speed and nimble feet to stay in bounds and bolted to the end zone. 21-yard crib call for the South Carolina transfer. Memphis takes a 2-score lead. It's 21-7. The star of the day defensively was another transfer. Elijah Herring had 8 total tackles, a sack, and this fumble forced and recovered as he just absolutely ripped it away from Gerald Green. Grown man stuff as the Tigers forced the turnover. A few plays later, Anderson looking like Super Mario jumping for a star. The insane hurdle clean over the defender will save you a spot in LA for the 2028 Olympics. Now a 24-7 Memphis lead. Tigers knocking on the door again. Hennigan finds Brendan Doyle, who finds pay dirt. A late hit on Hennigan drew a penalty. Ryan Silverfield then picked up a flag, sticking up for QB1 with the refs. But after some confusion, second score in 2 games for the tight end. Game blown open, 31-7 home team. Now to the fourth quarter. Second multi-touchdown game in 2 games as a Tiger for number 2. Anderson with the exclamation point on a monster afternoon. 17 carries, nearly 150 scrimmage yards, and 2 touchdowns. A dominant performance by Memphis. Tigers take care of business against Troy 38-17. They improve to 2-0. Let's hear some postgame chatter.
I don't really know. I mean, it could be. The wind was definitely going like that direction, but I mean, that's just something you got to be able to play through. There's no excuses to be had. So I mean, that's little things with the receivers and their angles, little things with me and better ball placement, and then we'll hit those. And we got a lot of pass interferences today too, because I don't have the little sheet right here, but it's all good. I mean, I think I missed like 11 throws, 11 incompletions or something like that. Thank you. Yeah, 12 incompletions, but I don't know if those account for the PIs, and I thought we got like 4 PIs, but still could have placed those a little bit better, especially the one in the end zone to Rock on the slant. So just got to be a little bit more detail-oriented and just a little tougher too.
Coach, we talk about the evolution of the game all the time. Let's talk evolution of technology in the game where in some aspects you're ahead of the NFL. Like these helmet cams are amazing.
Yeah, you know, you think about this now, they've gone to what we call the green dot, the helmet. They call it actually C2P, coach to player communication. They put a green dot on the back of the helmet wherever that communication occurs. And now you can have it for anybody on the field, 1 player per offense and 1 player per defense. Now it can rotate, so you can say, hey, this series, we want it to be with the starting linebacker. Next series, it could be with a starting safety. But the communication allows the coach, when the ball is spotted, they have up until 15 seconds on play clock to communicate whatever they want. They could talk to them about the weather. They could probably do a play call, maybe formation checks, right? Offensively, obviously 99.9% of the teams have it to the quarterback, right? They're talking to them, okay, hey, here's the formation, here's the play. Depending on the age, right? We got Seth Hennigan. We don't need to tell them, hey, look out for this, look out for that. Let's just give them a play, maybe one alert, and go from there.
Sometimes, how much do you talk to Seth about that? Because I'm focusing on the offense, because I'm pretty sure he's like, Coach, I mean, don't be criticizing me for a play I just did. Just tell me to play so I can move on.
Yeah, it's very limited communication with him, right? You talk about a 4-year vet that understands not only our playbook, but what also the defense is doing, has a great understanding. If we were out there and he was a true freshman, we'd probably give him an encyclopedia of information to get ready for. But you also don't want to do paralysis by analysis. All right, hey, here's a play, here's a formation, let's go play ball. And then once that play is done, let's go and move on to the next one. And a lot of it also allows, maybe even on the sidelines, so you don't see the quarterbacks running over to the phone. You don't see the quarterback they can just put on their helmet here and then kind of give if you ever notice, a player doing this, maybe let's say it again. But you gotta be careful, but us having a veteran quarterback, it's really simple dialogue and let it roll.
There's also a new innovation with video and tablets where you're actually ahead of the National Football League.
Yeah, so what they've allowed 18 quote-unquote iPads, tablets, okay, and you can divvy those up however you want. You can put 6 up in the coach's box and have 12 on the field. You could have 9 for offense, 9 for defense, some for special, however you want to put those up. So what they are is there's a cart on the sideline. I don't know if you guys saw it. And as soon as a play, within 3 seconds of the play being done, it's automatically uploaded to the tablets. What's unique about us in college football is it gets everything: the wide sideline angle, the tight end zone angle, and the television copy. Full video, fast forward, rewind, slow motion. You can go into series, you can look at every special teams. The NFL is at the point where it's still screenshots, still pictures. You get a sideline and end zone, and that's it, and there's still pictures. We get the full video, you can draw on them, you can do those things. And now all of a sudden, I'd sit there and say, well, what happened on that play? Let me see, what did that corner do? Oh, what did our running back do? Now, instead of having to remember or think about it or ask the young man, hey, what did you see here? You can just pull it up and go over it.
How easier does that make your job as a head coach? Because I know coordinators and position coaches on them all the time, but how easier does that make your job?
Well, what I think it does is it makes things really clear cut. There's no more gray area. Hey, did we see this? You sure? You're not over there trying to draw. Back in the day, we'd have coaches up there drawing all the cards, drawing on a whiteboard. So at halftime, you go in there. Now you have a chance to see it all ahead of time and make adjustments if you needed to. Now, there's going to be a cat and mouse and a chess game with this thing, right? Because, okay, hey, they saw this formation. This is what they're doing. Now, next time, let's make it a little bit different. Because, I think what happens is people are going to sit there and say, they've got a great understanding, a beat of what's coming next. Okay, let's change it up. So there's a little bit of that, but it certainly makes an advantage or disadvantage, but everybody's got it, and it's unique to see what happens.
What is amazing to me is how quickly you can get these things together. I mean, the next huddle on the sideline, you've got it.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as we go to those timeouts, I have a gentleman that brings it to me. We're able to go through it. I can look at the previous series, even some of the special teams things. So it's immediate, right? Obviously, credit to those people that have laid that fiber optic cable, all right, in Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, get it all efficient. But it's one of those things, we're going to be able to do it on the road as well. It's certainly unique, right? We didn't just say, hey, let's just dip our toe into this new technology. Let's go to coach-to-player communication and 18 tablets and see how quickly we can swallow this pill.
Reggie Howard is a name that's familiar to many people around the program. Now he's back with the Tigers. We'll sit down and discuss his inspirational story. Coming up next.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Welcome back to The Ryan Silverfield Show. Reggie Howard had a decorated career at Memphis as a player, overcame the odds to make it in the NFL, and now is back with the program, hoping to mold the next generation of great Tiger cornerbacks.
Howard is a 901 product through and through. An alum of Kirby High School, Howard played 2 seasons with the Tigers in 1998 and 99.
Just being in that locker room with the other guys, the way we worked and played hard for each other, and the camaraderie that we built that still exists today.
Howard was primed to be selected in the 2000 NFL Draft before suffering a terrifying injury, a broken neck, against UAB late in his senior season.
Well, I remember the DC was like, well, man, y'all go out there and stop these guys one more time and I'm gonna get you guys out the game. And so when I went in to go make a tackle, while I was tackling the guy, I was falling backwards and one of my teammates' knee actually hit me in the back of the head while I was going backwards. And I remember hearing the break instantly. All I heard was, I heard it. And you could hear it inside your body and I just heard it. I didn't know what it was. All I knew is I had back pain all through my back. Felt like my back was on fire. And so I never had any paralysis. I instantly was kicking and all that.
You remember the whole thing?
Yes. It was like yesterday, and a lot of people looked at it as something negative. But to be quite frank with you, I think it was a positive because it woke me up to understand, to value education, to understand that, people start to glorify you a lot when you become a star player or whatever, and you find out there's a lot of fakeness in that. It helped me identify who real people were and what people had my back.
Luckily, Howard had successful surgery to repair his neck and was signed by the Carolina Panthers as an undrafted free agent. And there's no doubt what his signature moment in the NFL was.
Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls. He was also picked off by you in a Super Bowl. How cool is that to say?
Man, it was cool because, we had been studying that play all week for 2 weeks going to the Super Bowl because we knew that they had a formation that they loved in the red zone. And I just got right up under it, man. And if the guy wouldn't have tripped me up, I probably would have scored a 100-yard touchdown return or something, But it was a great moment, man. It was such a surreal feeling knowing that everybody was watching and, had a chance to be a Super Bowl champion. It just came up short with a last-second field goal by Vinatieri, which is crazy. After the game, they give you a ring for winning the NFC champions, right? Man, I threw that thing in the closet. I was like, I don't want this loser ring.
Howard played 7 years in the league before retiring after 2006 and getting into philanthropy by starting the Reggie Howard Foundation. His coaching career was kickstarted after participating in the NFL Bill Walsh Minority Coaches Internship Program with the Denver Broncos in 2014. In 2015, his first full-time gig came about coaching the secondary at Lane College.
It was as if, oh wow, so now I can use a lot of these things that I learned while I was playing to help reach this player that some may think that he can't get it or he can't understand it. And what I started to learn about coaching it's really about how do you translate or how do you translate the information to that individual because everybody learns different. And at the end of the day, it's not about how smart I am. It's about, can I get this guy to understand or get him to perform?
2016 was really busy for Howard, who became the defensive coordinator at Kirby, his alma mater. That doesn't mean he quit his job at Lane.
It's crazy because I was actually working at Kirby High School and Lane at the same time. So I would work at one and then drive to the other practice in the day because I was spending time in Jackson, Tennessee, and I was spending time in Memphis. So I was doing a high school DC job and a secondary coach at Lane at the same time.
In 2017, Howard joined Memphis as a defensive assistant, then became the quarterbacks coach at Central Arkansas for 2 seasons before returning to the 901 as the Tigers' high school relations director. Following that, he went to Campbell University where he coached for 2 seasons. Then the NFL came calling again. Jack Del Rio, Howard's former defensive coordinator with the Panthers, was in the same role with the Washington Commanders and won his former pupil to join him as a defensive quality control coach.
I'm glad I did it because it did show me how it works at the highest level, and it put me in a position where I can use that experience and that expertise to help the next generation of players.
And then the return. Talk me through it. I know Silverfield calls you, but how did it all come about?
Man, he called me Thursday, our last game on Sunday. And
so week 18.
Yes. So he calls me, and I'm telling you, I had just had this conversation with my fiance. And so he calls me, and he talks about it. And I said, well, man, do I have some time to think about it? He said, yeah, I don't want to pressure you, but I do need to know because I do need to go ahead and hire somebody. But everybody feels like you the guy for this job. I want you here. Other people want you here. And so I went back and talked to my family about it, like I said, and I called him back the next day, and I said, Coach, I'm in. I definitely want to be back in Memphis. I definitely want to be a part of what you're doing.
I'm sure you've taken a tremendous amount of pride and taken all of your coaching job seriously. Does it feel a little bit different when you're doing it back here in your home city in this program?
Man, I tell people all the time, man, I wouldn't have came back to college football if it weren't for Memphis, just to be honest with you. This is home, you know. The NFL is a great working environment, especially for a coach. But I felt like this was an opportunity for me to come back home and just help the guys and show them how they can get there. And then even if they don't get to the NFL, show them how they can be a professional in life. And being a good father, being a good husband, being a good community servant, all those things are important. And so those are the things that I take pride in, is pouring into these guys and showing that I care about them and want to see them successful, and letting them know that, man, don't think that you got to be perfect, because there's a lot of people out here that pretend to be perfect and they're not. Just try to be the best version of yourself every day and just stack days of doing that.
Coach, I always love it when you bring back a former player, but it's even better when he's an NFL guy who coached in the NFL and college ball, like Reggie Howard.
Yeah, you know, Reggie's obviously a Memphis legend. I mean, you know, a guy that's from here, that loves this place, that played at a high level here, and then played 7 years in the NFL. I always tell this, and I don't tell enough people, you know, he picked off Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. But Reggie was a guy that we had the opportunity to bring on. Right when he got done playing, he was coaching a little bit here or there. We kind of brought him in as a young quality control coach. Then I elevated him to our director of high school relations, and then he had the opportunity to go be a co-defense coordinator, and then most recently was an assistant defensive back coach with the Washington Commanders. Well, we had to have an opening. I said, come on back home, Reggie, and he's been phenomenal.
Have you seen an effect on him coming in with your DBs?
Oh, absolutely. You know, he works almost specifically with our corners and does a phenomenal job, right? The instant respect you have for a guy, right? Oh, you played here, you did. Oh, wait, you played in the NFL at a high level? Oh, wait, you coached in the NFL? So now they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. It's like, give me more information. He's done a phenomenal job. He builds great relationships. He's an excellent teacher.
A reunion with Mike Norvell on a Saturday morning in Tallahassee. We'll preview Florida State coming up next.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
I can't wait for our first road trip. Mike Norvell was kind enough to buy us into Tallahassee. Talk about how that worked out with Florida State.
Once we both became head coaches, him in Tallahassee, me here, it took some poking and prodding and saying, hey, come on, let's play this game. After an agreement, obviously, they are paying us a significant amount of money to go down there, but I can't wait for it. Obviously, him and I still have a tremendous relationship. I give him a lot of credit. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for him. Obviously, he's a legend. You know, most recently, coach of the year in college football. But again, I go back to this. It's not going to be about Ryan Silverfield versus Mike Norvell. It's about the Memphis Tigers versus the Florida State Seminoles, and we can't wait for the challenge.
How much more motivation does that give you? Because I know y'all good friends. He gave you an opportunity, but still, as a competitor, you want to beat, you know, someone that you looked up to and they gave you an opportunity.
There's no extra motivation needed. I've got a great relationship with a lot of those guys on that staff. But like I said, you know, the focus is going to be strictly on the game, what occurs in between those white lines. I'll shake his hand before, I'll shake his hand after, but we got a lot of work to do in the preparation. Our guys will be ready to roll.
When you've got battery trouble, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Not to mention, these are the kind of opportunities that go a long way to make postseason. We're back with a wrap in just a minute.
You're watching The Ryan Silverfield Show, presented by AutoZone.
Thanks so much for watching. Next week, we'll be talking about going to Navy. Have a great week, everybody.
The Ryan Silverfield Show is presented by AutoZone. Got a check engine light? AutoZone will check it for free with the free Fix Finder service. Available at every store. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Conway Services, official heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric partner of Tiger Athletics. Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich. RJ Young, technology solutions that power your business. And by Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.